through CloudBolt and through OneFuse, there's a tremendous ability to accelerate what these engineers are doing to meet digital transformation needs, right? They don't have to worry about the mundane integration challenges while meeting the compliance and security needs. It's there as a service. It works, right? So it doesn't have to be coded and recoded over and over and over again.
Hi, this is Swapnil Bhartiya and welcome to TFI Insights. And today we have with us Jeff Kukowski, CEO of CloudBolt Software. Jeff, first of all, welcome to the show.
Swapnil, thank you for having me.
Jeff, tell us a bit about the company itself. What do you guys do? What problem that you saw in the market back in 2011 when the company was founded that you're trying to solve for the industry?
Sure. So for organizations that are on their digital transformation journeys, 451 Group would say that greater than 70% of those companies are already hybrid cloud, multi-tool by plan, by design, by accident, by mergers and acquisitions, et cetera. And CloudBolt is the enterprise leader in cloud management integration solutions. So when you think about being multi-cloud and multi-tool, the explosion of capabilities out there over the last 10 years has been quite amazing. So the ability for CloudBolt to automatically provision, provide for self-service, provide for governance and compliance to better understand cost and have visibility is a core part of what we do with hundreds of different tools on the market. The acquisition of Sov Labs adds an ability to meet the needs of VRA customers, which is the category king in the industry and a very capable set of tools that many organizations rely upon, and brings a software-defined way of eliminating custom code in that cloud management capability matrix, right? So if you think about, the big problems of custom code and having to code each of these tools, within frameworks, it's very challenging and it's costly. Standish would say that those projects typically overrun cost 189%. And Gartner would say that these custom coding products result in 200% increases in maintenance. So the CMP and its base capabilities and OneFuse and its integration capabilities quite literally take those problems away.
Since you mentioned Sov Labs, so when we look at companies today, there are two ways of growth. One is organic growth that takes decades actually, and then you acquire companies. So why did you acquire Sov Lab? Just to understand how it fits into your own roadmap and product portfolio. And going forward, of course, you cannot disclose a lot of further future acquisition, but to just give an idea, this is what the roadmaps for CloudBolt look like. And this is where you will be increasing your capabilities.
Certainly. Well, great question. So Sov Labs and the acquisition of Sov Labs was a purposeful step in the direction of where the market's going. So VMware has a very capable solution set in VRA 7, now moving to VRA 8. Thousands of VRA customers depend upon VRA for their automation capabilities and their digital transformations. And the acquisition is an acknowledgement of that because customers, as I mentioned earlier, greater than 70% of them are already multi-cloud, multi-tool. Guess what? Many times while as vendors, we want our tools, our platforms to manage everything. That isn't necessarily the way the customer works, right? So with VRA, the ability for us to meet those customers where they are, having selected that capability, and quite frankly, helping them get faster time to value, better compliance, less complexity. Our projects with our VRA customers many times take deployments from, let's say, months of custom coding efforts down to weeks of implementation to get time to value, which is significant. And we think part of the interest in Sov was not only to acknowledge meeting customers where they are, but Sov and their expertise in that world has, I think, probably the highest net promoter scores of any VRA deployments anywhere on the planet. So it's a conscious move to meet customers where they are and then extend to where they want to go.
Right, and you also VRA from VMware version 7, right? And the version 8 will be coming out. So when your customer move from one version to other version, is that also a bit challenging? Because sometimes a lot of new functionalities are added, a lot of functionality is removed. So do you help them in that journey as well?
Yes. So that's kind of the that's kind of the magic sauce in how we actually help VRA customers. It's such a capable platform, but you code those capabilities, right? And release to release, you have to redo, that coding in many cases, unless you have a software-defined way and a policy-based way to take your capabilities forward. So we are, part of what's exciting about this release of OneFuse is a really important step to keep that really high net promoter score and helping our VRA 7 customers move to VR 8.
Right now, just tell us a bit about OneFuse. It's if I'm not wrong, it's kind of codeless integration platform. So first of all, explain what would you define as codeless, and then let's deep dive a bit into what value is OneFuse bringing to not only the customers but also the ecosystem as well.
Sure. So just to kind of contrast custom code or scripting to codeless. Build it, however you want, through scripting or custom code, or basically utilize OneFuse as a service to take care of those integrations, policies, and abilities through the platform itself. And what OneFuse does is, in this multi-tool world that's been exploding, the product solves the time to value, the compliance, the security, and the cost problems of being able to use all these tools in a cohesive, policy-based and standards-based way, right? And we do that through a software-defined approach where we take, and abstract what an engineer or a user needs to know about what they're using from just giving them what they need. So OneFuse and CloudBolt help to mitigate challenges between, let's say, engineers getting what they need when they need it, and IT being able to provide that with the guardrails, the security, the compliance that the organization needs to continue its digital transformation safely.
Right. When we started talking, we were talking about the digital transformation or cloud journey that a lot of companies are embarking on. Right now, we are in the midst of a crisis, pandemic that we are going through. Those companies who did have their cloud strategy in place or digital transformation, they're way ahead. They are the ones who are succeeding, because suddenly you cannot send your teams to on-premise. You cannot even acquire hardware which will not come into that. So first part of the question is that what do you think this pandemic has done? Of course, it has not changed the strategy, but I think it has put companies on the path of acceleration to accelerate their journeys. So what has been the impact on the industry? Number one. Number two is, as more and more companies are moving, and cloud is not an easy piece, it's very challenging. How you are helping them by lowering the bar, by offering like codeless solutions to them so that they can easily move?
Yes. So great questions. And, the way I'll answer the first question in terms of the pandemic is we have a lot more calls with a lot more interest and even more at senior levels, so as a case in point, one particular CISO that I spoke with recently, their organization needs to accelerate automation efforts because of the pandemic. And that particular CISO is worried about what a CISO would be worried about in terms of having the right information for role-based access and compliance, certainly understanding and being able to see what people are using so that they can, secure it, having proper day two operations so that if it's not being used, it can be taken out. Cost has been central in this pandemic equation. Companies are looking at their bottom lines, and rather than cutting people, they want to make sure that they can slice into this $8.8 billion of wasted cloud spend, in terms of idle resources, because anyone can provision anything these days, without having tools like CloudBolt or like OneFuse. So we're seeing an acceleration of conversations and more of a connecting of the dots. And another conversation I had was on an IT group dealing with trying to more quickly accelerate their view into helping engineers with Kubernetes and helping them get the resources that they needed while being able to see them, understand the cost behind them, and putting all the proper guardrails in place as well. So the second part of your question was?
I think you did answer a bit there. How is CloudBolt helping them by lowering the barrier and bar so that they can easily move faster to the cloud?
So I think I would summarize on the how through CloudBolt and through OneFuse. There's a tremendous ability to accelerate what these engineers are doing to meet digital transformation needs, right? They don't have to worry about the mundane integration challenges while meeting the compliance and security needs. It's there as a service. It works, right? So it doesn't have to be coded and recoded over and over and over again.
Right. Now we are in I think it's almost July, because we don't even know which month, which day, which time of the day it is. What does the roadmap for CloudBolt look like? What are your plans for this year? Because as you also said, you're getting more calls now. So the customers they are looking for help. So you are on the path to accelerate whatever your plans were. So talk a bit about what does it look like?
This word acceleration and some of the earlier questions you had alluded to, we're a privately held company backed by Insight Ventures. And I think without saying too much, from a company perspective, you'll probably see announcements on even more growth capital, given not only what's happened with the pandemic, but companies do, even prior to the pandemic, want to accelerate their digital transformations. You may see another acquisition here in the back half of the year. From a technology perspective, focus on our VRA customers, helping them move from 7 to 8, and bringing additional utilities, tools, capabilities there. You'll see more innovation. I think what we're best in the world at is really abstracting all of these back-end complexities through the CMP and the integration layer. You'll see more, not only more capability, but more proactive capability on cost, governance, and security. So, and then, finally, from a customer perspective, and I know, you do a lot of education of your base, we're going to continue to focus on the customer. Our relationship and, keeping that net promoter score is really important, and innovating along with them to help them meet their goals is really important. So that's going to continue to be a focus for us.
Jeff, thank you so much for taking time out and sitting down here to talk not about just CloudBolt, but also the whole ecosystem. And I look, as you said, there's a lot in the pipeline, a lot of acquisitions will be there. So I look forward to talk to you again at some point. Thank you.
This has been a pleasure. Really appreciate you taking the time with me and our company as well. Thank you.